VC, I'm back, and I'm back faster than I thought I would be. So take a chance to make another contest entry, and this time it's for Andrew, Tales from the Crate. Man, you have an awesome channel. I discovered it only a couple of weeks ago, but I watched as many videos as I could until now. They're pretty long, so I don't want to lose anything in the video, so I watch them. And it takes a while, but it's always fun, and I learned a lot, and you show a lot of good stuff and interesting stuff and stuff I either did not ever hear of, or I did not listen to for a long while, or yeah, man, it's fantastic. It's always a pleasure and very fun to watch your videos. You're a really great guy, and yeah, I really appreciate your VC activity. I wish I could do that. So your task was to show 5 to 8 records that contain cover versions that are totally different to the original, or at least different. So I took a chance and grabbed a few records that immediately came to my mind, and let's just start. The first one is actually 2 records, but they cover the songs of the same guy, and I talk about these too. The first one is Odetta Sings Dylan, which is, of course, a record only with Dylan songs, some of his best from the very early era. And this record came out in 1965, so Odetta, folk singer, female folk singer, of course, and she takes 10 Bob Dylan tunes and makes them her very own with her very special, beautiful baritone voice, and it's a record I love so much. I listened to this a lot of times, and this, I was fortunate and I grabbed this copy because this is on Speaker's Corner. It's a kind of a quality press, very good pressing, and I highly recommend this record, Odetta Sings Dylan. And the other one is a very interesting take on Dylan songs too. It's Dylan's Gospel, The Brothers and Sisters. It's a kind of a gospel band covering those songs, and this is also from the 60s, 69, and the original came out, I think, on Columbia also, but this one comes out on Light in the Attic, and they do it's a reissue label, and they do a great job, and the packaging is great, the pressing is great, and the music is fantastic. So, and on the cover you can see this church, and there's a portrait of Bob standing on the wall. Very funny. It's great. I mean, 2 things here which makes them so unique and special, I think. I mean, always, like, when women are taking over songs from of guys, and especially when I think in the 60s African American musicians record whole albums of Bob Dylan music, which is just great, and yeah, can't get enough of it. Okay. The next one is a totally different one. It's also a whole album of cover songs. Maybe you know this, Andrew. It's Nouvelle Vague, and this came out, I think, in the 2000s on Peace Frog recordings. I really can't tell. And this is really funny because it's kind of a bossa nova, Brazilian style cover acoustic session of post-punk new wave hits like Love Will Tear Us Apart from Joy Division, Guns of Brixton, The Clash, A Forest, The Cure, I Melt With You, Modern English, Teenage Kicks, Vaselines, I think, and so on and so forth. And this is just a great, great record, and I really enjoy listening to this. And in preparation of this video, I spun this record again after a couple of months, and it's just fantastic. It was out of print for a long time, but I think now it should be easily available everywhere. So, okay. Also, again, something totally different. This is Tricky with his superb debut album from 1995. He's one of the main characters in the trip-hop scene from the mid-90s, right next to... I mean, he was a member of Massive Attack, and he was on that wave with Massive Attack, Portishead, Nightmares on Wax, and all these guys. And this is also an all-time favorite of mine. And he had a girlfriend at that time, with the name of Martina Topley Bird, and she was singing in most of the songs, and then they split up and they did not work for like 20 years. And now, I think in 2017, like a couple of months ago, he released a new record, and she was on that record like for the first time in 2 decades or so. And the cover version is Black Steel, the third song, which is an original by Public Enemy. And this could not be more different. Again, a female is taking the voice of Chuck D and Flavor Flav from Public Enemy. Very, very nice, very nice. Tricky. Max and K is the album. This is James Blake, a very young English musician. Very talented, and I think he was like 22 when he first recorded with Mount Kimby, and then he had a very successful debut album, and this was the EP that followed this one, and it had like kind of some experiments on it. He did a song with Bon Iver, Justin Vernon, and then he had also a cover version on this, and that's A Case of You by Joni Mitchell. And I know the original, I know the Prince version. Prince did a version too. I don't like Prince that much, but this is my absolute favorite version of A Case of You. Beautiful love song, James Blake, and the EP is called Enough Thunder. So, you might know this one. It was the favorite record of Kurt Cobain. I'm speaking of the debut album by The Breeders, Pod. It came out in 1990 on 4AD Records, and you know what I'm talking about. I mean, you know what about what cover version I talk about. It's Happiness is a Warm Gun by the Beatles, an original by the Beatles, of course, but they take a kind of a power alternative indie version, which is immaculate. It's so great. It's so fun, and they really make their own thing out of it. Happiness is a Warm Gun. This was the first record I ever bought. I was 9 years old, and this is the original copy I bought back in the day. It's 29 years ago, in Cologne, in a very, very huge record store at that time. I'm talking about the Pet Shop Boys. Introspective is the record. I still love it to death. Pet Shop Boys are one of the great bands in my musical education. And yeah, the cover version I wanted to throw in is Always on My Mind, which is on the B-side, second song on the B-side, and they make a medley out of it. It's Always on My Mind and In My House. I really can't tell who the original wrote Always on My Mind. I think Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash, did they do a version or something? I mean, a lot of people might have recorded this one, but I don't know. But this version is fantastic, and once again, totally different style. Okay, the last two. Hole, Live Through This. This is, and I'm very proud of it, my original 94 pressing on City Slang. And the cover version is the first song on the second side. It's Credit in the Straight World, and that's an original by the Young Marble Giants, which is an English kind of new wave outfit. And they recorded a very, very infamous album called Colossal Youth. This is the album. It's not the original, it's a repress from 10 years ago or so. I think the original came out in 1980. And this is kind of pretty popular in the kind of I don't know how to say it. It's infamous. A lot of people love this album. Me as well. It's very wow. I'm throwing away my records. It's very set back, taken back. Very, very sparse instrumentation, and yeah, it's worth checking out. It's something really special, the original. Something you might not have heard before if you don't know this record, Young Marble Giants. And then I have 45. This is a project called John Yoko. And this is pretty funny. It's a 45 consisting of two cover versions. The B-side is The Morning Paper, written by Bill Callahan, aka Smog. And the other one, which I throw in as my last one, is Papa Was a Rodeo, written by the Magnetic Fields. And the original is on a box set, 69 love songs. It came out on Merge Records, Magnetic Fields, in 1999, and this is the repress from I think 2 or 3 years ago. And they repressed it in the original 10-inch box on this beautiful colored vinyl. And I think every disc or every record has a different color. Stephen Merritt, of course, is the head of the Magnetic Fields, and this is probably one of my favorite songs of these 69 songs, Papa Was a Rodeo. It was covered a couple times, I guess. So, Andrew, congratulations, 500 subscribers. I think now 550, so they will go fast. Up, I mean. Take care, man. Thanks again. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you, just found out about some new stuff that you can check out. And hope to see you soon. Bye.